Theodicy is the presence and power, vindicating presence and power of God in the midst of suffering, trials, tests, and loss. Theodicy, Theo, Dicy. Theo meaning God, Dicy meaning the vindicating presence and power of God in the midst of trials, tests, suffering, and losses. God, where are you in this? Where is your vindicating power and presence? That theological word that we wrestle with during times of losses, it brings us into the courtroom of God. It brings us into the judicial process of God. It brings us into the place where God is judge and sovereign and everything is subject to him. God, give me some answers for my losses. God, vindicating power and prayer. God, show up. And when God shows up, he's always right and can never be wrong. When God shows up with his vindicating power and presence, we bow to the sovereign will of God. God, it doesn't feel good, but I bow because what I've learned about God is God always knows what's best. He's too wise to make a mistake because he's God. And so God always knows would you tell somebody, God always knows what's best? So I bow to his sovereign will. And so Isaiah understands that it is King Uzziah that died, but God's power is still alive. It is King Uzziah that is gone, but God's power is still with us. I'd like you to understand that there were 4 things that Isaiah saw in Isaiah 6, 1 through 5. Number 1, when you have the power of God, you got to see God. God, I need to see you. I've had visitation from everybody else. I've had counsel from everybody else. But I need to see God. I need to see your hand in this, God. I need some answers for my life. I need some direction for where I am. God, I need to see you. The Bible says that Isaiah saw the Lord. So he sees God. Number 2, you've got to look for his glory. The Bible tells us that he begins to go into the temple and he sees the angel of God and having 6 wings, 2 to cover his eyes and 2 to cover his feet, and 2 he did fly, and he saw the glory of God in the temple. One crying to another, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. Isaiah sees his glory. Then we find ourselves looking at point 3. Not only does he see God, number 2, does he see his glory? But number 3, he sees his grace. God's grace is there because he says, woe is me, for I'm a man of unclean lips. I'm undone. So I really shouldn't be here, because whenever you come into the presence of God, it shows you how much more you don't deserve his forgiveness. But somehow Isaiah the prophet said, woe is me, a man that's undone, unclean. My lips are unclean. Your iniquity is taken away, God says, and you're purged from your sin. So he begins to see that God's goodness is there, that what should have been done, I should have been judged. I should have been cut off. I should be at a place of reproach and shame. All the places I've been and the things I've done. But God, it was his grace. That's why the Bible says that Paul went to the Lord and sought him 3 times. God, I'm an apostle, I'm a pastor, I'm a bishop, and this thing is hurting me. But God said, listen, I know what you're dealing with. I know your weakness and your issue. But God responds from heaven that my grace is sufficient. God will let you know that it's not your own grace, but it's God's grace, because Apostle Paul, you might get puffed up in righteousness. You might brag and say you are one of the most righteous Pharisees of the Pharisees. You might say that you've gone to the best schools and some of the best places to be educated as a Jew. You might say that you're among all of those that are one of the greatest. But before you get too puffed up, understand that there's something that you got to deal with. There's something that's going to be with you the rest of your life. But what I want to let you know, the good news is I'm going to give you some grace for it. Paul began to speak to the Lord, and God told him, my grace is sufficient. Isaiah, we come back to the text, and we find that he senses God's grace, that he's a man that's unclean, a man that is placed in a place of the presence of God and senses that it's God's grace that is with him. And the last point that we see, not only, number one, does he see God in the midst of his loss and know that God's power is still alive. Not only does he see God, he sees his glory, and then he sees his grace. But number four, he sees God's goodness. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. What's happening to you? What's happening to you, my God, prophet Isaiah, is that you're seeing God's goodness. David said that goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I'm going to dwell in the house of the Lord. Please notice that there's some goodness that's going to show up for you in the house of God.